they called both families and they put them on video call. Whenever I saw, okay, our children said they want to get married, oh, women, oh yeah, and everybody, eats, and okay, they are officially married. Over there in Germany, they've gone to the registry, they've done their court documents, so they are married. In the eyes of the law, they are married. But traditionally, the wine and the kola nuts and the bride price had to be exchanged. Someone stood in their stead. And that for some people, worked. But here is where our conversation is hinged upon. You see, there's this belief that when you marry by proxy, that it can sometimes hide flaws or issues that would later on become a huge problem for the couple and the family. Some people have said, see, this type I no go do. You want to get married to me? All right, it's either you come or I go. Some would say, yeah, I can do proxy. I can do, I can come. Maybe your family members are there. Maybe you are not there. Like in case of the person I know, the family was there. This was years and years ago. But the guy unfortunately could not come for whatever reason the person couldn't come. All right. So we get married. Our son is here. They put his picture on the chair. The wife will dance. I can. Some girls have said I can do that. Some guys have said I can do that. But some say, look, I will not be a party to both individuals not being present for their own wedding. Why don't you just get married in Canada or in Germany or US? Do your quiet wedding and let everybody just know. Send us pictures. And you got married abroad. Why then do we have to have, a celebration, a traditional marriage here in Nigeria when none of you is present? The family members can't look both of you in the face, can't read your body language to tell if this is really what you want, if this was an arranged, if it's forced, if it's coerced. They can't see any of this. And frankly speaking, they don't trust the wedding as far as their eyes can see. We've heard of people who have walked away from families who refuse to support their weddings. But interestingly, we've also heard of families who've walked away from individuals who have decided to go with a proxy wedding. So, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you and all once again as we have a major conversation on our hands this morning.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
And now, hello Port Harcourt with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, numbers to call 08179230002, 08179230003, 08179230002, 08179230003. We're talking about proxy weddings this morning, and I'm asking, does a proxy wedding undermine the marriage? If you get to marry when your husband is on the rig, and then your father say, okay, let's put his picture, or let's get his younger brother. Yeah, it happens. Some people get their brothers to stand for them at their weddings. Does that mean that marriage may not work? WhatsApp at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and Twitter. I beg your pardon. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. The WhatsApp is 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. Messages, all right? That's what we get to. This one states, starts on say, Joe, good morning. It's a new year. Why do you want to cause trouble for people? Let people enjoy their marriages. Let them breathe. Once again, I'm only asking a question. See, I'm causing trouble. Zion, good morning to you. Welcome, please.
I will not be a party to such marriage.
Why?
Because it's not the biblical standard.
Biblical? What's that biblical?
Traditionally, our parents never practiced such a kind of wedding. They never did that. Rather, they will wait until the man will come back to the village or the woman will come. That is the standard. Even by law, it's not, they say the consent between two people and a witness. You see this generation, I want to beg you, mind the kind of people they give you marriage advice and marriage counseling. There are so many damaged people that they are looking for who they will think with.
Zion, let me ask you. So, let's say Okon and Ubong want to marry, but Okon just got called by Shell. You have to resume to work in the Netherlands next week, all right? And he goes to Netherlands. They've agreed to marry you. That's okay. You be in Netherlands, put on your camera, come on WhatsApp, let us see your face. Okon, do you agree to take Ubong? Is that not a marriage?
Marriage is spiritual. Marriage is spiritual. It's beyond all this. It's only people who are poor. See, avoid poor people in your life. They will drag you, and even God will forsake you. It's only a poverty mentality, a poor woman, a woman that the family is so poor that they will put the woman picture. Come and wed this picture. Come on.
So you're not sympathetic to any proxy wedding?
If the girl is working in jail or any IOC, will she allow that nonsense? Let's be honest with ourselves. Will she allow that thing? But only those other ones from this other side.
But we've seen very wealthy. In fact, the ones I saw, right, they were both from very wealthy homes. Clement is speaking to us on NTA Road. What's your take on proxy weddings? Nay or yay?
For me, I don't think it's important. Okay, I'm a photographer, right? As part of my hustle. Like one of the people I will always say, it is a poverty mentality, but not the action that he is much from. Now, let's look at development. Let's look at growth. Let's look at what is called change. They said change is inevitable.
It's inevitable. Yes.
Can we continue in it? Just because we are used to it, let's continue in it. The things we have in place now is a result of what is in vogue. Having someone's picture does not change anything. It is just what they want, like the family wants to bring the own, like they would call it. They want to bring they watch this girl go in the community, maybe the part of the girl's marriage and all that. That is why I think those pictures can represent them. Or else, they can just be in their closet, distribute all the gifts and everybody, but that entertainment for me is the poverty mentality. It does not call for at all. There is no need for masquerade, musicians. The marriage has been blessed by both parents and both wherever. There is no need for canopy and big photo side.
No need for canopy.
It's why they put those pictures. If those things are not there, trust me, it does not come for at all. At all. During the time of COVID, Mr. Jude.
Yes.
We see how life is going now. So even down and not to say, okay, because we have a place built in 2020, things should have changed. But you see, we went back as an African. So before 2020, I was not doing what 2020 has come to kill us. So it is the poverty mentality. We hold on to something we don't have to let go. They say, leave me, 2020 has come and said, leave this thing. But Africans say, I know the leave it. We will continue like that. So that's the poverty mentality I'm looking at to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Talking about legally married, some people did, funny enough, during COVID, marry online. There was a conference call there was a licensed minister or notary of the public, and man and woman sat down beside each other. They read their vows, and by the power vested in them by the so and so state that they were in, they were married. So, in a sense, that you can actually call that some form of whatchamacallit, all right, proxy wedding, because the witnesses were there, the man and the woman were there was somebody behind them, and then the notary of the public, who was somewhere else, was there as well. But there's a very interesting bit in the Nigerian sense, which is where I'm getting to right now. Okay, now in this country, in the registry marriage, right, or not the Marriage Act, it says, for marriage to be valid, it must have been done either one at the registry, licensed place of worship, or a Nigeria diplomatic or consular office abroad. Furthermore, there are certain requirements for the law for a valid marriage which cannot be satisfied by online marriage, such as presentation of a caveat, publishing of notice of marriage. Hey, did you see that now? I didn't write it. Section 23 of the Marriage Act. In fact, you know what? To put more meat onto this conversation, we're going to get a lawyer to come and interpret this so that, it's not you saying. But we're just talking about your perception, all right, of that type of marriage, talking about proxy weddings. Once again, simple question. Do you think a proxy wedding can affect or undermine the marriage, because it's the wedding ceremony that would lead to the marriage? Do you think that's the case? Let's hear from you. Now, WhatsApp 009 6416 6416. All right, and then please don't call that number. Please, don't call it. Just only send us messages, and we'll read the messages. All right, so let me read this one before I get to the next. We have a break coming up shortly. All right, somebody's calling. I can't open my app. Okay, now proxy weddings have been around forever, especially with traditional. The pandemic and Zoom made white weddings by proxy a popular thing. It's really not a problem. For me, I was worried because I thought I'd have to go to the village for my trad, which I did not want to do. I have never dreamed of my wedding being married. Yes, the process was the process and the ceremony of actually getting married. No. If a man doesn't know whose bride price is coming to pay unless he's physically present, he's not serious. Phones exist for a reason. My trad was done in the King's Palace in my hometown. Any relative who wasn't there wasn't needed. If you not like, no collect your share of the bride price. I don't marry. There you go. Everybody to your tent, oh Israel. This one here says, Jude, good morning. Proxy marriage might just be the way forward for now because of the cost of transportation. Who knows? More people will probably be in Lagos and they will tell their aunties and uncles in the villages that they have married, and they set up data and everybody goes home after that. See, finish. You mean c'est fini, you mean? Okay, all right, let's go on that break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this proxy marriage. Where do you stand?
Stay with us. Nigeria Info. We'll be back.
Your cousin is in the very lovely country of South Africa. And so, because of work and maybe some travel restrictions, cannot make it, to the Port Harcourt in the month of June or July, where they plan to celebrate their nuptials. However, there is a solution, all right? You, as a very splitting image of your cousin, can now stand instead of your cousin, and his bride, who is here in Port Harcourt, will wear all the fine George. You will just sit down there and you now hold the picture of your wonderful cousin who's in South Africa, and says, our families have agreed, people are coming to marry our daughter, and everybody is happy. Yeah? No, it's not. You don't think that marriage will last? You don't? Really? Okay, tell me. 08090306416. Now, this is from an anonymous, says some of the people are talking about poverty and how our parents never did some things need to revisit their history and be truthful. If a Yoruba king wants to marry a Yoruba woman, he sends people in his stead. Is that not proxy wedding? Or is it because the lady comes from a poor home? Truth is, Yoruba men prostrate to greet, but it is an abomination for a king to prostrate before his subject. Interesting. Tex says, I would never support proxy wedding. Neither would I have participated in it because I'm already married. What is the hurry? Do we swear in governors, president, or do we swear in governors or president by proxy? No, even essays are sworn in. Not even essays are sworn in by proxy. For me, who is very religious, I would interpret any unforeseen circumstances that prevent our physical union as perhaps an opportunity for something that might have been hidden to be revealed. For the instance you painted about someone getting an important appointment abroad, I would suggest that they bring the marriage forward. Marry without guests and let the guests gather to celebrate the already held wedding in absentia of the bride or groom, or both, with the proxy present. I'm however inclined to considering online ceremony where one party is present via a real-time video link on an online platform. But for another person to represent the groom or bride, not at all. What if they kiss the bride, then go agree make her kiss the woman? Text. I don't know if you can do that. If he says on ordinary road, if so, we have a minute for you for going on the headline news.
Like this marriage is spiritual.
Okay.
Like because me, I cannot be in it. Because if you want to marry, come, face your wife. Now you are expecting that I will give her the deal that you need to pay. Now, God forbid, if the next day or in weekend the man there lost his life, is the woman originally your wife?
You serious?
Because now me we should represent the man. And now, God forbid, the man lost his life. But mine is the husband. So if you want to marry, like the woman, assess your penalty. Don't be one. You said, so business and you digital marriage. It's not working. It's fake.
Okay. All right, let's get to the headline news. He makes a very interesting question. So what if maybe for whatever reason the person passes on before the partners physically come together? Will that not, affect the marriage? Will you say the person's really married? Headline news.
Headline news. Nigeria Info on
92.3.
Headline news.
Appointment of Edison Eye as Chief of Staff. SDP calls on INEC to redeem its image in next elections. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo announces date for the start of passport automation process. In business, federal government to ensure higher standards of safety for air travelers. In entertainment, father of late singer Mohbad set to release new gospel album. In sports, 22-time Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal says he's not scared of retirement. On the foreign scene, nearly 400 passengers evacuated as aircraft engulfed in fire in Japan. Details will come up away in the 12 noon bulletin. To reach the news team, or WhatsApp message to 0808 721 7215. 0808 721 7215. My name is Jude Omamegbe. Thank you for listening and good morning. Is a big one this morning. We are talking about proxy weddings, and I'm asking, do you think a proxy wedding can undermine the marriage? Do you support proxy weddings? They've been on for at least, to my personal knowledge, for at least 2 decades that I've seen. However, one of the messages I read a few moments ago said, look, proxy weddings have been done for a very long time, for centuries. And there is truth in that. Kings would often go and, get married to somebody who's in another village, in another country, without physically being there. There's an emissary that is sent to bring the, quote, wife, whose maybe bride price or dowry or whatever has been sorted out. It's not in the Bible that Isaac. Sorry. Was it Isaac? No, it was Abraham. Let me not confuse anybody. It wasn't in the Bible that Abraham sent somebody to go and look for a wife for his son, Isaac? They went to look for the wife. So you can argue, well, they found the wife, but it doesn't mean that the wife was married. It was when they got together, they got married. Maybe. But, they had to bring her from somewhere else. He didn't go there to get her. So, this is 2023. All right? We are apparently on the divide. Yay or nay? Some of you are in the middle. Let's get back to the phone line. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0007. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. On Facebook, Christian Ogbenaya says, Jude, if the man has to be in jail abroad, can he go ahead and marry him or her? Or how would they do it? It's a good one. What if your husband to be or wife to be is to be incarcerated? That's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. All right, let's get to the phone lines now. All right, 92.3, we have an anonymous caller. Good morning, please. Hello, good morning. Yes, go on. Okay, could you speak up? Your voice is very faint, please.
Okay, let me try to be audible. Talking about the Bible, in the Bible, many things are written there. Like, look at the example from David. David, a king in his old days, was dying, and his servant went to get a wife for him. He wasn't invested in getting married. So it's a proxy wedding. Look at almost all the weddings. They are all proxy. David's wedding was proxy. I think Isaac's wedding was proxy. But as you said, the father got very wife for him. And so I don't think that there is any attachment of any kind of sort.
Yes, yeah. So you're not worried about proxy weddings.
It's going to be normalized in the country.
Okay, so we normalize. Peter is speaking to us from Yenegua. Peter, good morning to you.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Jules.
Good morning, Peter. Happy New Year to you and welcome.
Happy New Year to you. I want to say that this proxy wedding or marriage is an ancient thing because, like in the case of the Abraham that you just mentioned, you can see that when Abraham actually sent his servant to look for a bride for a son, Isaac. Isaac was not even there. In fact, he was not even seen. The wife did not even know about Isaac. Did not even see him at all. So if that is not a proxy marriage or wedding or whatever, I don't know what is. So you can now see that this thing has been there all this while.
Okay.
You know? So at this time around, technology has been made it better. That the camera can even show the bride and the groom. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is it. So I think that this thing has been there all these stages.
Okay, all right. So you wouldn't mind, but it's good. It's good. We're getting the public's opinion. We'll probably get the law to come and join in. Like I said, maybe on Wednesday. No, sorry, tomorrow's Wednesday. Maybe on Thursday. We'll probably do that. Maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. Let's get a lawyer to wade in. But I'm getting your views this morning. Jude, if actually both partners have been in a relationship and dated, maybe at the process they agreed to get married, but the point in time there were no funds to sponsor the marriage, then later on they can run to God, help one another, and God help them to travel abroad. You don't expect him or her to come back just to witness the traditional stuff of their marriage. I think that's why technology is here to help us. Video chats and help do any traditional rite they think is necessary. But you see, if you're doing video chat, how do you give your wife the wine? If it's your culture that you have to give your wife the wine to drink as proof, of her love for you. How about your first task as a married woman? Feeding your husband. They say she puts more pounded yam inside his mouth. You can't do that via, Zoom or WhatsApp. Even if you have your pounded yam there with you, wherever you are. The person who is here in Nigeria is not going to feel your hand. Which is why, like I said, I know some of the ones I've seen, there's somebody who's standing in their stead. It is still a proxy wedding. Anywho, let us continue. WhatsApp now, 0809-030-6416. Good morning, Jude. People married get blessed on Zoom app. Everyone from both family are well represented. The proxy marriages are waxing strong and great. Holding on to now so we they do on for our tradition is a poverty mentality. They are referring to the numbers of canopies, jollof rice, music bands, spraying money, and making noise on the day. Nothing special, trust me. I support the proxy marriage. So it goes on to here to say, I love the Abraham and the servant and Isaac example. That marriage was completely done before Isaac met his wife. That was a proxy wedding. So Isaac's wedding is not blessed according to the people who are against proxy marriage. Say tell the Nigerians to do jollof rice, Joe, noisy music and stuff alone. Clement, well, with that one. Thank you very much. Anonymous here says, a lot of people talking about how they won't support, their input is not sought for or needed. So if both my husband and I are abroad, we must come back before we are wed traditionally. And I got pregnant, our children can't traditionally bear his surname. In my place, a woman's child belongs to who has paid bride price, or they bear her father's name. In his place, a woman is not recognized as a wife till proof that her bride price was paid and is tendered. So anything you people do in registry, they don't know or send you. So if there's a death or inheritance issue, what do we do? I'll have no right to talk to his relatives. He will have no right to talk to my relatives. Our children can't traditionally have certain rights because elders will be like, we don't know you. You don't exist to us. Interesting. Moving on. Lady V here says Jacob who even went physical to marry his wife was deceived. Remember that story? I think but it was not 7 times. He had to work. Is it 7 times or 7 years? Please, Bible scholars, help me out there. That's Jacob's story. He had to work for is it 7 years or 1 year or 2 years before he was the father-in-law agreed to give him the girl he wanted. But the first one that they brought for him wasn't the wife he wanted. The man said, oh yeah, work again and I will give you the one you want. Remember? Okay, please don't believe Jude. Just correct me. Call me and tell me. I don't know. Yes, I don't know. Okay, all right. Happy New Year to you, Jude. I have seen proxy marriages in Lagos. Reason being that both couples were based in London. It was really interesting because there was a large turnout of crowd. Really, their portraits were placed side by side, and that was all. The practice is not new as long as the culture and situation at the time allows it, Michael says. Large turnout. Can you imagine a large turnout for proxy wedding? The bride and the groom, they're not there. But the friends, well-wishers, and people who want to eat fried rice were there. All right. Okay. Lady V says it's 14 years, 7 plus 7. Hi, Jude. I think this proxy wedding posed some problems. An example, I had a relative whose wedding was done in proxy in 2019. Sadly, up till this time, she has not been able to move to the US to meet her husband, and the claims have continued to be migration constraints. Isaac's wedding was done when the wife was brought to meet her husband. The messenger was sent to go and search for a decent woman suitable to become a wife for Isaac. In this case, where my relative wasn't able to meet her husband for a long time, so it means the sex in the marriage for months or years after the proxy wedding, the marriage hasn't been consummated. Do you agree? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I am pinning this message. We are going to get a lawyer, all right? Because this is beyond me. My powers, right, are limited to only asking the questions. I have no, I mean, not a clue, right, as to how we are going to address this. So I am going to nicely pin this message, very nicely pin this message, and we are going to talk about it. Samuel is in Transamadi. Samuel, good morning to you, please. Hello, Samuel. Good morning. I can hear you. Go on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on, please.
Okay. Yes, proxy wedding to me is as a result of insecurity.
Insecurity, you say?
Because probably they would have the feeling like, if I have to wait for maybe like 3-6 months or a year before I will be physically present to go ahead with the wedding, a lot of things might change, or someone else might already have my partner. So for the sake of insecurity, like, okay, let's go ahead and have a proxy wedding.
So
that's my check.
So you wouldn't support a proxy wedding?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not in this life or the next.
Samuel, you're even angry. Okay, all right. Samuel says, not in this life or the next would he support a proxy wedding. 92.3, good morning. Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, I'm William.
Oh, please, could you call the other line and turn down the volume of the radio? Aha! 7 years for each. Thank you very much. I've just seen that. I knew it was 7 years. Yeah, 7 years for each of the women. Each time he tried to marry. 7, oh, that's what he did. Fascinating. Okay, all right. back to you. Messages are pouring in now. Let's get to it. I need to. There's a DSA from Port Harcourt sent in that message talking about, what if the marriage is not consummated? You've married by proxy, no problem, but you have not consummated that marriage, that wedding. Well, no, sorry, the marriage itself. So what happens? Where do we say no? How do we draw the line? Happy New Year, Jude. And in standing as proxy for someone to marry in Nigeria, the young man and the woman that served may have stigma and that they are married at the time they are ready to marry. Even pastors and prophets would tell intending suitors and brides that they had been in marriages. Eric Chooks, not quite sure understand that. Okay, all right. He served for 7 years for a woman he did not want, and another 7 years for the woman he wanted. 14 years for 2 women. That was Jacob's story. Okay. George is in LMA. George, yay or nay?
Okay. It's an interesting topic, but I actually feel it's good. Those days, you don't even know me, but you can just go to your village and get one good girl, bring her and say, George, I find this good wife for you, marry her. And I'll marry her, we won't have issues.
Yes.
Got married those days without stress. But you see this generation girls now, even the ones we know, that are angels by day and something else by night, always moving movements. The girls that will go out with only 150 naira in their bag and come back with fried rice and chicken with extra 20,000 naira.
He's doings.
How you want to go and marry such woman? And you are in London, she's in Nigeria, and you will not have problem when she join you over there. So this our generation, I will not support it for one day. Even the one you date and caught for 2-3 years, there is a problem. And the challenge we now have is that after all this, our life, we now go to the church and come and tell us we are born again, join Usher. And when the innocent brother comes, you will not see my body until after wedding. Bros, problem there. Let her live and there.
Oh my goodness. All right, more messages. This one says, what people don't seem to grasp is that different marriages have different rules. Some people who even live with their partners before marriage receive huge shocks after the wedding and end up feeling like they married a stranger. Some of the people talking down on proxy weddings are the same people who will support blind dates or marry someone they have never met based on recommendation. Here you are. And it's happening. Or, well, it's happened. I don't know if it still happens till today. All right, let's get to Facebook and X as we wrap up. Oh, I have just about 4 minutes. Probably take one or two calls at the most. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. We're talking about proxy weddings, and I asked the question once again: do you think a proxy wedding can undermine a marriage? If you do get married by a proxy, does it mean there are certain commas that will come through in the marriage as you go on? Is it going to happen? What are the fears? What are your concerns? Are you supportive, yay or nay, as regards proxy weddings? Back to WhatsApp now. Let me read this. This one here says, hi, Chi, good morning. It's very confusing at this moment. Ideally, with technology, people should be able to engage. We're having meetings virtually these days. People have signed and joined up with businesses, even have jobs that they work remotely. They get paid. Nobody's shouting. But when it comes to marriage, I'm old-fashioned. I think for such a decision like that, you must be physically present. So, if I am physically present with my partner abroad, I will want to have a traditional wedding in the village, no problem, so long as I am with my partner. But if any partner is away and you are having a proxy marriage, my brother, run. Interesting. Okay, hello Jude. What I'm against is that we planned to marry physically. Then suddenly, one of us cannot be present on that day, either because of visa, new job, misplane flight, or whatever. Then we can't wed. Then you want a relative to step in for me or her? We must wait. However, if since we're determined to marry, we always knew one of us may not be present as projected a period, that is very different. That's why God in heaven gave Mark Zuckerberg and Twitter invented the grace to invent video technology. Isaac had his marriage when Rebecca came. Those days, marriages end with consummation. No consummation, no marriage. That's why Jacob was shocked with Leah. Was stuck with Leah, even though we all knew who he wanted. If he realized it was Leah before consummation, the marriage would not have been concluded. Michael from Okrika. Oh, okay. All right. Clement says, this is proxy wedding. Genesis 24 verse 52. When Abraham's servant heard what they said, he bowed down to the ground before the Lord. 53. Then the servant brought out gold and silver jewelry and articles of clothing and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and her mother. That sounds like bride price. And verse 54. Then he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night there. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave that to you. We have JJ on the line. JJ, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jude, in those days when we were growing up in the village, right, you will see, let's say, your mom now. She's a very beautiful girl from her friend. And what you'll be hearing is, my son wife. Meanwhile, you are in Port Harcourt here. You also, and one day, you just got a call or a message or whoever that your mother said she will be coming to Port Harcourt by next month end. Oh, and before you could say, they don't pay everything finish. Carry the girl, come give you. Say, Jude, this is your new wife. And you say, no. We are very stubborn. No. One day, rain start to fall. Before you know, two of you together. And before you know it, you have like 30 years. You are celebrating 30th anniversary of wedding. Is that so? Oh, my God. It's time. Now, don't challenge yourself last time. Jude, good afternoon. Good morning.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. Didn't expect to hear that. We're very interested. Anyway. Well, the debate is still on. Proxy weddings. Yay or nay? We're going to get a lawyer to help us with this. Let's see what the law says in Nigeria. Thank you.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back. 3 emerging artists, 4 mega producers, 3 record deals with Empire.